Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is part 10 of the Mist Hashira. Enjoy! Another 20 minutes later, and the rock bowl had been removed from the fire, with the herbal contents inside, bubbling away and infusing the hot water with its goodness, while you fanned it with your hand and blew on it with your lips to cool it down enough to drink. Try it, Muichiro said after watching you cool it down. I don't think it's cool enough yet, you commented, watching the steam rise heavily from the bowl. It's best to drink it hot, he replied. Okay, I'll try it and see, you said with a little hesitation, trying to touch the outer part of the rock with your hands enough to lift it to your lips. I can't even lift it, it's so hot, you said sadly. Here, he offered, moving over closer to you so that he could hold it for you. Your hands might still be a little cold from the poison, so the bowl feels hotter than it is. See, I can hold it. You looked at his calloused hands and then to his face. Can you even feel anything with your hands? The skin there's so thick on them, you commented bluntly. That may be so, he replied as he lifted the bowl to your lips. But it allows me to do this for you without harm. You wanted to take a second to appreciate his sweet comment, but you didn't have time to because the rock bowl was placed to your lips and tilted slightly to allow the contents to trickle from the edge. It was hot, but it wasn't too hot, and you took a small sip and then reached up to place your hand on his arm to indicate for him to stop tipping the bowl. He understood what you were trying to say and tilted the bowl back the other way to stop feeding you, and you nodded your head. It's okay, it tastes kind of earthy, but it's not bad, you mused, after swallowing the mouthful down. The roots taste worse, the leaves are okay, he commented. You've tried it before? You asked. No, my mum used to say that, he replied. I feel so sorry for him. It sounds like he spent a lot of time with his family only to have them taken away from him, you thought sadly, the sadness in your thoughts showing on your face. What's wrong? He asked, looking at the pensive look on your face. Oh, sorry, I was just thinking of how sad it is to lose someone, family, you said sadly, looking down into your lap. It is, but then you meet others who become family, he said, and you looked up into his shining eyes, the soft look in them making you melt inside. You stayed like that, looking at each other, and you thought now would be the perfect time for him to say that he liked you, or even kiss you again, but it never came. That would have been expecting too much from this sweet, dense boy. You gave him a small, shy smile, and then looked away. Yeah, you agreed softly. Muichiro took good care of you that night, hand-feeding you the herbal drink and making sure the fire was stoked to keep you both warm, and as the night wore on, you fell asleep, your head resting on Muichiro's shoulder. He stayed awake to make sure you were okay, monitoring your breathing and other vital signs until the morning. That next morning you woke with a little jump, momentarily confused as to where you were, but Muichiro's hand on your arm calmed you. Good morning, he said gently. Hey, you greeted groggily. Did you stay up all night? Yes, he nodded, to keep an eye on you and the fire. I do actually feel much better today, he said, taking a quick note on how your body was feeling. I'm glad, he replied, getting up to head off. You got up too and grabbed for your sword and his, before following him off into the bush. The trip back to the headquarters was much the same as when you'd left to go on your mission, except that when you walked with him, he talked, even cracking a smile here and there as he talked about funny events with the rest of the Hashira group. I like these stories, he said with a smile and a small giggle. I haven't been with you guys for long, so these stories make me feel like I'm a little more a part of the team, you know? But you are part of the team, he replied. See, we did this mission together, and we got the book. He patted his hip pocket, where the book was snugly tucked. And I really enjoyed it. Well, aside from getting swallowed by a demon and getting poisoned, and then that other weird 8-legged demon thing, but the legs were other demons or like half-alive humans or something. I don't even know what that was, but I never want to see that again. Your fight style works really well with it, Muichiro mused. I do like the different attacks you used. Each is very good in its own way. But what about you? You can fight like nobody's business. And I'm so flippity-hoppity-happity that you got me out of there when I passed out. Thank goodness you know how to deal with poison and can neutralize it with herbs, you said emphatically. He gave you a small smile. I'd never leave without helping you, he said. You grinned at him. Just then your stomach grumbled. Oh, you said with surprise as you clutched at it. I'm hungry. Let's stop at the next village and get some food. You must be hungry too, you haven't eaten in a long time. He hummed in agreement, looking thoughtful for a second. That is true. You both had to walk for another 2 hours until the next village, but you made it there safely and then walked straight to the first food place you could see. Thankfully, the food was amazing, or you were just very hungry, and by the time you finished shoving food into your mouth, you could hardly move. Oh, you groaned. I don't want to see food for another 4 years. That's a long time, Muichiro commented, putting down his last plate in front of him. You want to see food again before then? You joked. Your game. Are we all finished here? The voice of the shop owner asked as he walked over to your booth and smiled at the two of you with mountains of plates piled high in the middle of the table. Yes, thank you. We're all done, you said, trying not to groan as you said it. Very well, I'll go and get the bill for you, he said, then turned and walked off. Suddenly you realised that somehow you would have to pay for some of this food, at least, and you reached into your pocket to grab your wallet out. Clicking it open, you looked inside. A bunch of coins met your eyes, and you weren't sure if it would be enough. Do you have any money? You asked Muichiro, looking across the table to his very dull food coma-glazed eyes. A little, he replied. Yeah, I hope a little means more than me, because I don't know if we're going to have enough. I didn't even think about the price, I was just so hungry, you wailed softly. The owner returned with the bill and handed it to you since you put your hand out first, and then walked off to give you a moment to get everything sorted. When you saw the price of the bill, you nearly fell out of the booth seat. I didn't think we had that much, you hissed at the small paper in hand. Can I see? Muichiro asked, after having pulled his small coin pouch out of his pocket. His eyes widened slightly too when he opened his pouch to see if he had anything to contribute. The two of you madly poured through your coin pouch and wallet contents and slowly counted everything you had. Oh, we're still 1,000 yen short, you cried softly. I have an idea, Muichiro said, and raised his hand to get the owner to come over. Sir, we're very sorry, he said in an apologetic voice. We have travelled the last few days and haven't got much money with us, but what we do have, we give it all to you. If you would please let me help in some way to cover the last 1,000 yen that we were unable to pay, I will do the chore happily. And me too, you added quickly. When I've earned more money, I'll come back here to pay the final 1,000 yen, Muichiro added with a seated bow. Well, the owner said, scratching his head, this is unusual, but you'll have to wash the dishes out the back. I will do so happily, Muichiro replied. And me too, you added, not wanting him to take the responsibility all by himself. No, I will do them, he said, looking at you. And I said I'll do them also, you added defiantly. I don't really mind who does them, but as long as they get done, the owner said with a sweat-dropped look, not really understanding the fight between you two. And there ends part 10. Stay tuned for next week, part 11. I'll see you then.